Alright, now I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Jack, is this some sort of clickbait for you to get views? There are some serious talks and some serious evidence that maybe Jon Jones and Sergey Pavlovich will fight at UFC 293 in Australia. Sydney, Australia announced recently that UFC 293 was going to take place there. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, hey, Israel Adesanya is supposed to fight in this card. Guys, I have tons of evidence to break down for you guys. I have like 4 pieces of evidence. Judge it as you will. I'm going to be talking about the main reason why I'm saying this. But this is a fight that's definitely in the works in some sort of stage. We're gonna see what's going on with that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And thank you guys for 11,000 subscribers. We just hit it. But as you guys know, we're trying to get to 20k by the end of the year, so I don't mean to keep asking, but please, let's get to 12k. If you guys could get me to 12k, I'd be extremely happy. I mean, I'm happy right now, don't get me wrong, but we're trying to get to 20k by the end of the summer, grow this thing big. And I wouldn't normally be asking you, but I see a lot in the analytics. A lot of you guys just watch and don't subscribe. A lot of you guys return and don't subscribe, which is crazy to me. Please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share for the algorithm. Just support the channel if you guys watch it. Much appreciated. I never ask for donations or anything. Just hit the subscribe button. That's all I care about. And yeah, like I said, today we're going to be talking about Jon Jones potentially fighting Sergey Pavlovich at UFC 293 in Australia. Not Stipe. I'm going to break down everything and more. So without further ado, let's just get into this video. All right, Jon Jones, obviously the greatest of all time, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, coming off of that really dominant win against Cyril Gane. Finished him with a guillotine choke in half a round. And holy shit, I mean, that was just crazy, that performance. I mean, I'm still not even over it. That was probably one of the craziest moments of the year. But a lot of people were like, hey, when is it going to return? There was talks of him being the main event for International Fight Week on July 8th. Obviously, that fell through. Now, Volkanovski is the main event. He was gonna fight Stipe, fight canceled. If you guys know anything about MMA, you guys will know that the Stipe and Jon Jones fight has been a fight that's been talked about for over a year now. It's been scheduled time and time again. It was supposed to be July 30th of last year. Then it was supposed to be September, November, December, March, and then finally we got the Cyril Gane fight. Now it's rumored for International Fight Week, and then it was rumored for the MSG card this year in November, UFC 295. But what makes me say that the Stipe fight once again has fallen through and that Sergey Pavlovich will fight Jon Jones in September in Australia? Well, guys, I'm going to break down the evidence why. And first of all, I have to say, what is my source? What is making me think this? The first thing that I saw was something that no one is talking about, but Chael Sonnen went on a podcast with Brendan Schaub, a one-on-one interview, talked about a lot of subjects, but one of which near the end of the video, he talks about Jon Jones versus Sergey Pavlovich being targeted for Australia, something I've never heard before, something that I scoffed at when I first saw the article. But I'm gonna play you guys what he said and I'll let you guys judge.
You know, we'll see what happens. I'm hearing strong rumors that the Stipe and Jones is going to go up in flames and that Sergey Pavlovich versus Jones is happening in August. I'm hearing strong rumors on that. It's strong enough that I can tell you that's at least being pursued. I don't know where they are in agreeing, but that's at least being pursued. And if you did have partners in Australia, you promised them Izzy and you said, look, I can't deliver, but I can bring you Jones and Pavlovich. Are we good? They'd probably say, yeah, we're good.
Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, hey, Chael Sonnen does not work for the UFC. How would he even know this? And that's all fair. Look, Chael Sonnen could very well just be wrong. And for all we know, he could be making it up. I don't think he's going to make it up. I think he cares about his reputation. I don't think he's just going to chat out of his ass and just make up some shit that he's never heard. I'm sure that he heard this from someone, but it could be wrong, right? But I want to say he did break the news that Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev are going to fight in Abu Dhabi. The fight doesn't look like it's going to happen anymore, but I think we know to a certain degree that that fight was supposed to happen at some stage. Paulo Costa even confirmed it on the Ariel Helwani show and said, hey, that the UFC told him to wait till October to fight Khamzat Chimaev. So we know that was true, and he also broke the news that Francis Ngannou signed with the PFL, something that a lot of people don't give him credit for, but he actually broke the news. So whatever you want to say about Chael Sonnen, he definitely has some insight. Like I said, he is friends with Ariel Helwani. He's friends with a lot of journalists. He has his ins and outs. He's able to get on the in and find out a lot of news. So I definitely am not saying that this is 100% true, but don't take it with a grain of salt either. But regardless, I understand you skeptics might be like, Jack, you're crazy. This does not make sense. Don't believe Chael Sonnen, and fine, I won't believe him. So I did some research myself. The first small piece of evidence that I saw was Sergey Pavlovich. He's in Miami right now training, and look, MMA fighters train all the time. This doesn't mean anything, and I agree, this doesn't really mean anything on its own. Okay, whatever, don't take into account, but I'm saying when you add up the other evidence, this might be pointing to something else. The third piece of evidence I want to bring up was the last post-fight press conference in which Dana White came out, answered a few questions, in which a reporter asked Dana White about Israel Adesanya versus the winner of Dricus du Plessis, UFC, pointing out how Robert Whittaker and Dricus Du Plessis would have a really quick turnaround if they were going to fight Israel Adesanya in September, because that fight is obviously in July, just 2 months. So they basically, right after they fight, get back into a training camp and train. And Dana White kind of hinted that maybe that isn't the plan anymore and said that there might be something else in store, and teased that there was an announcement coming soon. Now, I thought this was Jamal Hill versus Israel Adesanya, and it still might be. This still might be the plan, and Jon Jones might be fighting in November after all. But he did definitely smile, and if we know Dana, we know he gets happy at these big money fights, and Jon Jones in Australia is a big money fight. Now, my last piece of evidence is something tying Jon Jones to this fight. I had to do some research, so like I said, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe just to help support, because I did try to do some research to try to find out if this was true or not, and I found something that was pretty damning. Now, I don't know if you guys ever see, maybe around where you guys live, depending on what part of the world you are in, but here in New York, I see all the time a lot of MMA fighters, UFC fighters, they have like a little bit of a training session you could pay for, pay about $100 or so, get into the training session, and train with your favorite MMA fighter. You know, it could be anyone from Valentin Shevchenko did it by me recently, Brandon Moreno did it by me recently, Dustin Poirier sometimes does it around here, a bunch of MMA fighters do it, and Jon Jones is planning to do it, weirdly enough, in Australia. Now, you guys could be like, hey, Jon Jones is probably just training in Australia, doing a little international tour, and that could be true, yes, but Australia is a little bit of a strange place to tour all around, including New Zealand, especially when you consider that apparently he was supposed to be training here this month, and the date was just mysteriously moved closer to UFC 293. Now, I could be over analyzing here, absolutely, but I'm gonna put it on the screen. Jon Jones is supposed to be in Sydney, Australia for a training session that you could pay about 80 Australian dollars for, which I don't know what that is in American dollars, but regardless, you can see it's for August 4th. It's from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can't take pictures there, whatever, you know the deal. And we do know that Jon Jones is a guy that likes to prepare for fights a lot, and I can see Jon Jones being the type of guy to want to show up to Australia a month early just to get used to the time zone, just to get used to the atmosphere there. And we can even see that he's training there during his training camp just for a day, and to me, I mean, that's a little bit weird, and that's all the evidence I have, but to me, this is pretty damning. I think that we might actually see Jon Jones versus Sergey Pavlovich in Australia, UFC 293, and maybe we get Israel Adesanya fighting at the end of the year, Conor McGregor at MSG. I don't know how that whole thing is going to work out, but I'd assume that Israel Adesanya and Jon Jones wouldn't fight on the same card unless they're fighting against each other, which would be crazier than anything. But let me address what all of you guys are thinking. Do I think this fight is going to happen? Quite honestly, at first, I didn't. I didn't think that this was going to happen up until I saw that Jon Jones was training there. And look, when you put together all of the evidence, maybe individually you could say, hey, that doesn't really make sense. You know, there's holes to poke through it, and I absolutely agree. There are definitely holes to poke through the story. But when you put all of these things together, it starts to kind of paint a picture. And I genuinely believe when there's smoke, there's fire. And I believe that there's somebody behind the scenes at least pitching this to the UFC. At least this is an idea. Enough of an idea for reporters to find out, for Chael Sonnen to find out. And I think Dana White is doing a post-fight press conference in an hour or so, and I really hope I don't have to scrap this video if he just outright denies it or confirms it. Then I'll definitely come with an update. Personally, do I think the fight's gonna happen? Gun to my head, I genuinely don't know. I honestly don't know if this fight's gonna happen. It's 50-50 for me at this point. 50-50, could happen, can't happen. I just think him touring in Australia is a little weird, but I could be wrong. A month is a little bit early to me, but Jon Jones is the type of guy to want to go extremely early just to prepare for a fight. And obviously, I assume he wouldn't just go to Australia in early August, leave, and then come back a few weeks later. But we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. And as far as the matchup goes, it's extremely interesting because, as we know, Sergey Pavlovich has crazy knockout power, but not just that, he does have a wrestling background, as I've shown before. I wish Curtis Blaydes was able to test his grappling a little bit more, so maybe we could try to see how good he really is. But this could be a hard fight for Jon Jones because there's a lot of question marks in terms of his defensive grappling. We've seen his offensive grappling before he was in the UFC, and the fight makes sense. And honestly, for Stipe, it doesn't seem like he wants to fight, to be honest. Stipe has been offered to fight time and time again, and there's been some sort of problem with him over and over again. At a certain point, maybe the guy just wants to be a firefighter and chill, no longer want to fight, and that's fine. But I think you should just try to make that clear. Maybe it's just undecided as of right now. I don't know. I think if there's any fight that'll come back to, I think it's Jon Jones, but we'll see. We could very much see the retirement of Stipe. Who knows what's going to happen? Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and share the video. Let your friends know, hey, Jon Jones is fighting Sergey Pavlovich in Australia. Guys, thank you guys for the support. I love you guys so much. You guys are genuinely the best fan base in MMA. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.